It's time! Toxic Tuesday time. That's right. It's me, your Toxic Avenger. And I am here.
Too much energy, man.
To avenge every single one of your toxic ideologies.
Why?
Habits,
how could you do that?
actions.
Who are you?
Well, by blaming it on all of your past traumas and environment, of course.
Oh, that's how you do it.
And today, we're going to talk about Jane Fonda.
That's current.
At least, you know, what she said recently in a podcast. And I'm going to ask you fellas, and maybe everybody in the room, a question. So here's what Jane Fonda said on the Absolutely Not podcast. She said she's done. She's over 86 years old. She's not dating. But she said, and she was ashamed to say this, that if she were to take a lover, he'd have to be 20. Because she doesn't like old skin. Now, fellas, I go to you. I want to know what preferences that you have that could be considered kind of toxic, maybe even hypocritical.
Okay.
It doesn't necessarily have to be a physical thing, but something particular to you.
Sure.
I got it.
That is a toxic preference. I mean,
Okay.
there's some
I got
toxic
it.
things out there that people like and prefer.
Right.
So,
Why don't you
go
kick
ahead.
it off and get canceled first?
Well, I'm trying to think of a preference that I would have.
I got mine. Mine's right off. I didn't have to think about it. And I'm going to quote the great little bastard
Mine.
John Cougar Mellencamp and tell you I want a lover that won't drive me crazy.
What does that mean?
That's what I want.
What does that mean?
It means exactly what he said. Some people make you crazy.
I think.
And you can't fight crazy.
Are you saying you're unwilling to compromise with a lover?
I'm just saying I want a lover that won't drive me crazy. That's what I'm saying.
All right.
The problem with this segment is you're actually toxic. That's hearing all of this.
What do you mean?
I
It
know you're
is-
serious.
Yeah, you're just like, I mean, what we don't even know what that means. It sounds like you're, you just want somebody who'll do what you tell him to do.
No. It's not that at all.
I have.
Some people bring a lot of drama
Oh, you mean women?
into her. I'm not, no.
Wow, bro.
Sometimes it's
I thought it
the
was
dude.
Toxic Tuesday. We're supposed to be toxic, right?
I was talking to somebody else.
Oh.
So my toxic preference is probably built on my insecurities as well.
Can't wait to cancel you
But
right now.
I don't know if I would prefer a woman that didn't make a ton more money than me.
So there's not a single woman out there you'd be attracted
That's
to?
why I'm single.
Wait a minute. You want one that doesn't
Because I
make-
feel like it's not even like an inferiority thing. I mean, probably in my mind, but I'm insecure about my financial situation.
And so you're missing the point.
And so if she's
you're
not
missing
kind
the
of in
point
my
of
bag,
relationship.
too.
You're
Yeah.
missing the point of.
I know y'all say use women for their money.
Cuffing.
No, we don't say that. What we're saying is one of the great things you can do is combine resources.
Right, and create more.
You're a great cook. You know how to do laundry.
Right.
There's a lot of stuff where you can contribute. If I were you, I'd go out there and be a boy toy. That's what you need to do.
I can't believe you haven't done that.
Well, that's when all the men would say, well, you're going to make a great wife one day.
Where did that come from? That
Yeah, but what do you care what they say if you're
Yeah.
rolling in it?
I mean,
you
it's
don't
not
play
mine.
golf. What are the guys you're hanging out with?
But one
I
slip
can't-
up and that motorcycle gets taken away. And you got to move out, you know?
Wow, I don't know, man. I say,
Congratulations on knowing now how a lot of the other half lives.
But
That's interesting.
What is your toxic preference? I'd like the ladies to chime in with their toxic preferences.
Here's I don't ever judge people on what they find attractive or not, because I don't think it's a thing that's very easy to control, right? It's something that is built into your DNA. What makes you?
There's somebody for everybody.
Yeah. So when some people say like, "Well, I don't know if I don't find white guys attractive," I don't take that personally.
Oh, when they date only a specific.
And I know that some people are like, "Well, that's racist." I think you don't really.
I don't find white guys attractive either.
Well, congrats. And I think that there's a thing that goes in your brain. Now, I've told you this before. I've talked to you guys about it before, and I'm sure some people would look down on me on this and say that it's fetishizing or what have you. I'm doing a lot of prefacing, aren't I?
Yeah.
You guys know that I find women who have a deaf accent incredibly attractive.
That is toxic.
I've
and I
talked
love
about it since I was a kid. It does something. I don't know why, but I find that particular accent to be incredibly attractive.
Is that an accent?
Well, it's an accent for a hearing impaired. Yes, the hearing impaired have and it's just ever since I was a kid, I find it insanely attractive. I also find facial scars, like if a woman was bit by a dog as a youngster or something like that, for some reason that kind of like scar. Interesting. When I was living in LA, one time a woman came over. She was the date of another guy who was coming by our apartment. And she had a bite mark on her cheek. She was hearing impaired. And it almost killed me. It almost killed me. It was my perfect woman.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, that's more body positive than anything.
I don't know. I think I've said it before to some people,
scar.
and they said that it's disgusting and I shouldn't talk about it because they say it's
late.
it's fetishizing or something like that.
Yeah.
People with a disability. I don't know. I mean, I just was trying to be honest when they had a conversation. And I just think that, I don't know, there's something about that accent. You know, some people find a French accent very alluring.
I know I do.
All right, so I'll get just as toxic then here.
I like a British accent.
With this
but that's
preference.
because I lived over there. So
I like a very not super confident, awkward gal. Like an Adrian Balboa.
You've gone back in the history books for that reference. Holy cow.
Something like that.
What was she on, Maude?
Do you think that has to do with your confidence about yourself as a man?
100%.
And you're like, well, if she has no confidence and no money, then she can't leave me?
I don't know if it's about leaving. It's just
You want to trap him?
now we're both comfortable. Now I'm comfortable in this scenario.
All right.
You know?
That's really toxic.
I
I wouldn't have
just
said
feel
it.
like- I
I
just
wouldn't have
feel
said
like-
it out loud, dude.
I feel like people that are judgy. Not here, but like, you know. I've had women judge me before
I'm sure.
for being too broke to do something.
I think that's silly. I think that there's something broken with your generation with the expectation of dates. That's supposed to be this big, extravagant layout. I think that's dumb and broken.
Dumb.
A date should be getting to know somebody. You could
I
literally sit
didn't
on
set
a
the
park bench.
standard,
I'm not
so-
saying you did. I'm saying it's jacked up. I was reading the other day of somebody saying that the average first date is now costing somewhere around $300, and it's one of the dumbest things I've ever heard.
Dumb.
Hey,
That there's
that's
an
the
expectation like that.
I want to go back to something that Jane Fonda said
average. Okay.
because I think she has a point. Now, what was her exact quote
She
again?
said she didn't like old skin.
She doesn't like old skin.
All right. I think the word old is a little weird, but I have, in my many years...
Why is that old? Why is the word old a little weird?
Well, because I would agree with her about the skin thing and that.
Because old means bad in this situation.
No, old means aged skin.
I want to talk more about chemistry because in my many years of dating and the many women that I've encountered,
Slade.
either known to people or unknown, because there was some secret squirrel stuff back in the day, and I can say that because my wife's in Chicago right now.
Secret squirrel.
I can say that there was a chemistry thing with skin. Like, I knew from the first touch of an arm
I like this talk.
or a hand,
Now you're talking. Now
That-
this is a talk show.
chemistry-wise, it wasn't going to work. I didn't feel
Really?
any electricity. I did not feel any. In fact, I was...
Describe the skin to me,
I don't
please.
know.
What
I don't
color
know
was it?
what it is.
Well,
it was just
okay,
like
look,
you would
take
go on. Let's
yourself
say you
back.
go on a first date and have coffee or
Okay,
something like that.
you're in a
and maybe
restroom.
You rubbed.
You stick your fingers through the hole in the wall of the stall,
Come on, man.
and you
I'm trying
touch
to,
over
I'm
there.
trying to give you something here. I'm trying to give you something real here. I'm not joking around. I'm not trying to be a shock jock. I'm just telling you that
I like this.
know from the very first time.
Did you touch it or see it or smell it?
And I'm not talking about nudity or anything. I'm talking about maybe it's just the arm. Maybe it's the
Was it
hand.
loose?
Maybe
Was
it's
it like
no. It
the
has nothing to do
texture?
with it's
sight?
the chemistry. It's the electricity, the chemistry
all
that
those
comes
details
through
create
it.
the chemistry.
I know. I don't know what it is, but I've been with people, and I know from the first time that I went out with them that this is not going to happen.
Hairy arm.
Like it's not going to. No, it has nothing to do with hair. I can't explain it. It's a.
But was it the actual skin, or were you just so excited to touch that person because you were already attracted to them? What's the chicken? What's the egg here?
I don't know.
Well, you're not helping us then.
So you're
I think-
defending Jane Fonda on her not wanting
But
old
she puts
skin.
the word old in there, and it had nothing
Well,
to do
that's
with
what
old.
she doesn't feel chemistry with.
Okay, you would rather her say, I don't like
this is
loose
something
skin?
that's more.
I don't like crepey
This is
skin?
something that's
Thin,
more
loose skin.
ethereal, more. What's the word I'm looking for? Existential, or that's not the
No,
right
she's
word.
saying, I
Spiritual.
don't like... I
yeah,
want
it's something more spiritual. It's something about like.
She's saying, look, at 86, I'm a billionaire. I have everything I could possibly want. If I'm going to go nail a dude,
Yeah.
he better be worth the time of putting up with a dude, so I want a young, hot Adonis who could make it wet.
I hope she gets that.
And she's like, I
And
don't
keep it
want
up.
another... I don't want to... All the guys my age are all stooped over.
Yeah, I feel like it's finally a woman relating to how, I don't know.
Yeah.
Some-
She's like,
some
look,
men feel-
if I'm gonna put up with dealing with somebody else in my life, the only thing I would really want is I would want to...
But doesn't she have old skin?
Yeah.
Yes, she's admitting
some
to
of the
it.
oldest. But what's wrong with that?
I think
Is
she's
it
just-
hypocritical, I guess?
She had buns of steel back in the 80s.
Because she expects the 20-year-old guy. There's some young dudes that have the opposite appeal, that are fetishized the loose, crepey skin
Yeah.
that we all adore.
Well, because those ladies, you can get on their back and then jump from tree to tree. You can stretch them out and they'll glide from branch to branch.
I thought it was because you can kind of move them on their skin back and forth on the bed.
Yeah, I don't know. I think she's just trying to be provocative, or maybe she's just lost her mind a little bit.
She's...
I mean, you can. I don't know. I'm surprised she would put that.
There's nothing wrong with what she said. She's in an interview, especially what was it for? She's on a podcast.
Yeah.
Who explained what a podcast is to her?
She just started talking into a microphone. They didn't know. She didn't know what
She didn't know it was a podcast. She thought
That's
she
why
was
she
on
said this
Entertainment Tonight or something.
I have no
I
problem.
don't know. I have no problem.
So we're
with it.
fine
I mean,
with
Jane
Jane Fonda.
I mean, I don't know.
So the next 86-year-old man, we're going to be like, that's cool.
I don't know. I got to be
We
fine.
get it.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Well, I'm sorry I didn't explain my thing very well, but that's just the thing.
No, you
I think-
explained it perfectly.
I think the ladies understand. They probably
Ladies.
know from the first date whether there's a chance, right?
Yeah.
Do
I'm
y'all...
not even talking about. I'm talking about companionship. I'm not talking about anything, sexual or untoward. I'm just saying, you
Yeah,
know
but
that
they-
this person is not going to be somebody I'm going to be with for a long time. I can feel it, and it's something that has to do with chemistry.
Our two young female interns will probably admit there's some things that probably give you the ick that you wouldn't really want to discuss out in the open. You would probably discuss with a friend, but not out in the open because you might think, well, that would make me sound like a bad person.
There's some
I
red
see
flags.
knowing
Yeah.
looks in both pair of eyes. You don't want to necessarily.
I wouldn't even say ick. I would say the red flags that you
It's a
like.
red
The
flag.
toxic,
I think isn't a red flag though different? Isn't a red flag a behavioral thing?
Yeah. I'm trying to think of something that's not like a behavioral thing. That's just like genuinely something toxic, I think.
neck tattoo.
But can't
That's
you
fine.
just be like, I don't like a guy with attached earlobes? Like it's just a thing that I don't
I'll
like.
Start looking. I'll start looking for
Yeah,
videos,
and it could just be something simple like that. And you're like, I don't necessarily want to talk about it because people will be like, oh my God, you guys are so judgy. And so you're like, I'm not going to discuss that. But then I think as you get a little, sometimes when you get into older groups, people are they admit more like, oh, okay, maybe you shouldn't hedge your sex life, especially when you're younger. Go out there and get exactly what you need because Lord knows you aren't later in life.
I mean, maybe one of y'all likes old men.
No.
No?
Oh, look how sad Bob looks right now.
I do all right.
I'm trying to think of
I
things
can't
that-
really think of any. Maybe I would just like stray away from a musician because I've had too many bad run-ons with that. But like, I don't think that's like a toxic.
In that case, who's toxic? Is it the musicians or is it you who keeps choosing musicians?
Double-edged sword.
It really is, isn't it?
They should teach
The
that
tables have
early
turned
in
on
school.
us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, musicians can be dangerous, but fun.
I mean, I don't even know what type of guys y'all would like, or just soft.
Hey, you know what else could be toxic
Soft,
is
wimpy.
Yeah.
chasing after guys who don't know what they want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that.
I Hope said, and I feel like that's kind of toxic. You like a nice wimpy guy.
Yeah.
Give me a good wimpy dude.
Yeah.
Okay.
A wimpy kid.
Yeah.
Somebody you can control, right?
Yeah.
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 Because the woman should always be the more powerful one in the relationship.
I agree with
Well, they
that.
are.
I
Yeah,
agree.
we are.
I don't think
By
there's
nature, you are.
I don't
yeah.
think there's a relationship where the
No.
man's
Well, you
in
hold
charge.
the cards.
That's
I
why
mean,
no one's in
you-
relationships
yeah.
anymore.
Well, except for that's Chewy is like wants to find an Adrian because he's like I want to
Well,
find
I
Want
someone
her to
who's
support my
wimpier.
boxing career.
I want to adapt what you. I want to adapt what you said, and you'll learn this when you get a little older. That the person that's least as interested in the relationship
Has the hand.
has the most
Every
power.
single
Now
time.
that is a
Has the most-
universal thing.
Every
That-
single
most
time.
power.
That
Yes.
is a crazy, and it's just
Yeah.
more psychological if you explain it. But you're
So
you're
it's not
completely
always
right.
the woman. It could be the dude. It just
It
be
can
it
switch
either.
back and forth.
It can switch. And it's
It can
power
switch in the
dynamic,
relationship,
yeah.
but whoever has the least to lose by the relationship ending always has the most power. When you're dating, I think it can change and evolve over time.
I think it can switch back and forth.
Yeah.
You know, the guy gets fat, and then that happens. Sorry.
Why did you look? Why
Why'd
did
you
you look
look at
directly?
Smokey?
Why
I
did you
don't
look?
know.
No, he looked at me. Looked me straight in the eye and goes,
Everybody's
sorry.
looking at
Sorry.
everybody's checking everybody out right now. It's like, what's he?
Causing problems.
Anyway, I think that wimpy one is kind of toxic.
Just need someone trainable. My mom is always.
See, that's
Yeah.
that's
That's-
super toxic. That is,
That's
and I
way
want to know how
toxic.
many women actually have that thought process.
100%.
It's a
All
jo-
of
it's
them.
a joke.
Train-
100%.
to
It's
do
not a
what?
joke.
It's not. There's all truth to a little
It's
joke.
100%.
There's a little truth to it.
Train to do what? Put the toilet seat down? Like,
Yes,
what do
that's
you wanna-
part of it.
What are
Everything.
some of the things that you want to train a guy to do?
To be complacent with any.
Well, you've been
flaw
taught
she
this
has
your
or
whole
anything
life,
that she's-
apparently.
Not
A guy
have
that's
sex
not
with
gonna-
other women.
He's
That's
gonna
one.
learn not to rush you. He's gonna learn to take out the trash when she says.
To listen to
and
me
not
just
later.
ramble. Yeah.
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 Bob,
Care about your feelings.
why are you
Yeah.
acting like you don't know? Your wife has you 100% trained.
You're trained.
I watch it when I go to your house, and I'm not
that's not
calling
true.
you out because I have the same thing in my. That's how
Who's got the-
relationships
who's
last.
got the e-bike?
It's called being.
Oh my God.
She encouraged it. She goes, you have, that's fine. You can't have a motorcycle, but you can have an e-bike.
So she has you trained.
well, no, that's a practical thing.
Compromise.
That's a practical
okay,
thing.
okay.
By whose standards?
Huh?
It makes no sense, dude. You just admitted that she's got you trained, but the example you're using, you're claiming means you're not trained. I went out and
That's
got
wild.
a bicycle.
You're trained, but you just don't know it.
I think women might be more toxic than men having this
Yeah.
discussion.
Hey, Bob, who's at home right now?
Me?
Okay, where's your wife?
Somewhere.
Where?
I don't know.
She just because she
Taught you
jet
not to
set.
ask.
It's
She's
December.
gone like
She could be anywhere in
she-
December.
in December,
I won't
she's
see her
gone
till around the 18th.
2 weekends a month. She's gone partying up, and he has no. He's like, well, I think she goes for work. I don't know. She doesn't call me. I never gone on one.
See, that's that dynamic of.
Oh, no, she did invite me to New York. I'm going to New
Yeah,
York.
but she's in Chicago,
I'm
which
gonna
is
join-
interesting,
I'm gonna
isn't
join her
it?
in New York. I think tomorrow.
Oh,
I don't know.
that means her boyfriend must fly out today. Trained,
Well,
dude. Trained, 100%.
Hats off to you, Jane Fonda, for admitting and knowing what you like
All right.
at that age.
I hope she gets it.
I
What
will
a-
say this. I bet a lot more women are like, you go, girl, to Jane Fonda saying, I don't like old skin, than they would be to a guy going, I'd rather hump a 20-year-old woman because I hate old skin. And I bet a lot more ladies would be like, guys are the worst. They're such pigs and dogs. They're disgusting.
Who would have fetishized that crazy thing? Young, tight, smooth skin.
Especially when she doesn't.
What a
have it.
weirdo.
That
Man.
stuff's good, though.
That's a good one, Chewy.
I don't know if you've ever tried it, but it's pretty good stuff. Mornings with Matt and Bob. Still got more coming up till 10 a.m.
And we still got more tickets.